Awesome. We're live.
All right. Awesome.
All right. So I guess we're waiting for some people to join in.
Yeah, and I still can't see like the people count.
Oh,
Uh, so just a idea. Just say "Let's get started" when you see someone,
sure. Yeah.
and then I'll introduce you because I can't see that. So just
Cool.
let me know.
Yeah. Yeah. You can begin whenever. But before you begin, I definitely want to ask, like, have you even set up for Christmas? Have you
Oh,
decorated?
yeah, we got like a lot of stuff going on for Christmas. I'm actually helping one of our um, like account managers here, Evan, set up at his church later this evening. Actually, we're doing like a Thanksgiving thing and set up, and I haven't actually decorated around my apartment yet.
Yeah.
So that is still bland, but yeah, so that's coming soon though. I'm like when my birthday's at the end of November, and I always considered it a fall birthday, so I usually decorated like the day after my birthday.
Got,
So
got it.
yeah, that's
Love it.
probably the trend this year too. What about yourself?
Cool. Yeah. I just decorated literally last night. So I'm an early bird. I like to do it before Thanksgiving.
I mean, some people do it in like July, so I don't know if you're an early bird there per se.
Right. Love it. Love it. All right. We're good. Yeah. We're good to go.
Awesome. So today we have Bobby Ikebudu. Bobby is the director of church engagement at Orange, and he is a pastor as well. So Bobby has lots of spectacular ideas on how churches can better market their ministries because that is one often neglected part of ministry marketing. So Bobby is going to show
Yeah.
the top ministry marketing mistakes and how to avoid those.
Awesome. Yeah, totally. So, a little bit about me before we dive in. So, this past year, I've had the opportunity of just working with a lot of different churches, especially during the pandemic. And a big struggle that I've solved was that a lot of churches struggled with digitally innovating and connecting with parents at home. And it's really, they started panicking since they didn't have any technology in place, or their website wasn't fully developed, or all these different issues started coming up because they were at home, they were stuck at home, and they had to connect with parents. So now that we're coming out of a pandemic, slowly coming out of pandemic, now church leaders are realizing, hey, we got to step our game up with marketing and connecting with parents, connecting with families. And how can we look at what we have now, our technology that we have now, our strategy, and really change that up, innovate, make changes in which we can just reach more families more, not just by word of mouth, but digitally. And so throughout the last year, I've gathered many, many different mistakes that I've seen people make, things that weren't working, strategies that weren't working, things that needed to be changed, whether it's like their social media, website, all these different things. And so we just wanted to spend some time to just talk about, like, the five marketing mistakes. It's not the top five, but just these big five marketing mistakes that church leaders just need to hear. And whether you're a church leader, volunteer, whether you're part time in your church, these mistakes, maybe you're making them, maybe you currently need to innovate, whether it's your social media, website, whatever. So we're just going to go through these. Is that cool?
Awesome.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, first, I always want to preface, whenever somebody says, "Hey, I want to market my ministry." Usually, that has a weird term. Usually, people are like, "Hey, why would you want to market, your ministry? Isn't that like selling? Isn't that like advertising?" So, I always want to start off with saying this: like, marketing isn't selling or advertising your ministry. It's really communicating what your ministry is and will be doing. So really from the gate. I mean, the only way parents and families and kids are going to know about your ministry is you have to market your ministry. It's not just going to happen. Families aren't just going to come through the door just by chance. The biggest way is to allow people to understand what's going on in your ministry, and allow them to connect. So the first marketing mistake that we're going to talk about is, number one, not leveraging email. And so as I was working with many, many leaders, even in our church here in Georgia, we connected with so many leaders and noticed that their email strategy was just off. And so as they're sending emails to families, as they're trying to connect on a week-to-week basis, their email was very simple, it literally sounded robotic, and there was a lot of different things that they needed to change, and it looked like spam, and a lot of times it would get sent to so the first, just some tips for email. Number one is I highly recommend just having a newsletter. And a newsletter, just even if it's a week-to-week newsletter or just once a month to connect with families. This allows with updates, different events, things that are going on in your ministry to allow families to understand. And the biggest thing with these newsletters is images. And so once you're inputting images into an email, one common mistake that I see a lot of people making, even in the business world, is they are uploading big sized images. And so when you upload such a big size image on a newsletter or an email, most of the time it won't even pull up on a phone. And so a lot of people don't even realize that when they're uploading or even adding these high images. And so I recommend just sending those images and going to a site like a compressed PNG or compressed JPEG. And what you can do is you can upload all your images or any image that you have onto this website, and it will compress into a small file. And then you still be able to save the image quality and all those aspects. That way you can add it to an email, and the email will be able to load quicker. All the images will load up right, and it just saves a lot. And so I recommend that image size should be about 100 KB or less. And so that tool allows you to do that. So you don't want to send out an email and then families aren't able to, see all the images that you have in it or all the graphics because you have a big file size. So definitely check that out, compressed PNG. And then the other tip that I recommend is format the email well. The biggest thing that I see going wrong is they're having the subject line, and the subject line is super, super basic. So I saw leaders that said like Sunday, and then they just put the date, or this week, week 4. Like, we want subject lines. And the purpose of subjects are for people to see that and want to be enticed to open it up. And so I recommend, hey, use subject lines, even if it sounds so like, if this tip sounds so like just basic, it's really a big tip that I just recommend. Just like even using a subject line that says, this week in kids we learned boom or something, something that allows them to understand what's going on and want to open up that email, because you do not just want them to keep scrolling through their inbox.
Not at all. And on that topic, Bobby, I'm curious, got any like subject lines you found that are get like better open rates than other ones?
Yeah. So we had for Halloween, we had a activity where we had a pumpkin, and we had a pumpkin right on the stage. And so we were gonna smash the pumpkins. It was an activity. And so I would say, like, this week we're smashing pumpkins, or this week we're doing all these or just give a little glimpse of what's happening each week, just to allow the kids, or even the volunteers, when you're sending out volunteer emails, allow them to understand what's going on. So it's big. That's a really, really key. So it's the subject and the preview line. So
yeah. Okay. Awesome. Preview lines are underrated there. What are the top tips for like getting their attention with a preview line?
Yeah, preview line is just giving them just a sample of what the email is going to be about. So you can really highlight the different sections that's going to be in the email. So you can talk about like what you're going to be learning on each Sunday, or that particular Sunday event that's coming up, just like giving a little glimpse of each one. So so you can really just start listing that, but in a concise statement, in a concise sentence. That way they can see that in their inbox when they're pulling it up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I recommend first to really talk to your communications department if you have one in your church, or whoever is kind of leading your the graphics team or all that. I wouldn't advise a leader just to run rogue and start sending out emails or whatever. But if they allow you to really develop your own email system, your own email strategy, then you can use like MailChimp, you can use all these different email platforms. And now a lot of curriculums even provide just like email templates that you can actually import. So I know like for Orange, we have MailChimp, actual email parent emails that you can just
Wow.
input and just send out. So definitely just figure out what best email situation and strategy that you can use, and then really just innovate from there.
Awesome. Love that. Definitely a lot of room to improve in email there, and
Yeah.
great tips there. Do you use MailChimp at your church, or is there another platform you like better, or is that your favorite
Yeah.
one?
No, currently we're using MailChimp. Yeah, I love MailChimp. We've been using that for about like 6 years. But I mean, there's a
Awesome.
lot of plenty um, different email chains. I know for us, for Orange Curriculum, we really import directly into MailChimp. So that's the template that we use. And MailChimp is innovating every single day, and it's really user friendly. So I would really highly advise, but there's so many different ones that people can use.
Awesome. Big MailChimp fan myself as well, so love to hear it.
Nice, love it. Okay, cool. So the next ministry mistake is the big one. I was gonna have this as number one, but I didn't want to put this up front. But to have a weak
Mm,
and inconsistent social presence, and not just like a weak, but really I want to stress the inconsistent.
mm,
So at times I'm looking at church feeds or children's ministry feeds, and it's like they are here one month and then they go ghost the next month. You don't really know the timing. You don't really know who's posting. You don't really know what is going on with by looking at their social platform. And I put this graphic right here because I've done a lot of work with Woodlands Camp, and I just love the way they are using social media. If you like look at their
mm,
social media, the photos, the photography, the captions, it's engaging. The photos are clear. It shows different kids, it shows different activities,
mm,
it shows all these different aspects of what's going on. They're using the highlights. And so we're kind of going to break this down a little bit just to talk about really Instagram. That's a tool that I highly recommend, but also Facebook. Those are the top two tools that I recommend.
mm,
But for Instagram primarily, the biggest advice that I always give is the first half, which is what you see right now on the screen.
mhm,
That's the first place that people, once they click your social platform, that bio is often just really missed. A lot of people just
mm,
put just basic information that doesn't really give any evidence of just what's going on in your church or what it is or what your values are. So I would really advise a clear logo as your profile pic. Really make sure it's sized correctly, and then
mm,
having a statement of just what your church is or what your ministry is. And then instead of listing different links or all these different things, I would recommend a link tree. And so if you look closely, you
mm,
can see that there's a link, but instead of just like www dot blah blah blah, it's a link tree. And what it is once you click that link tree allows you to add different links to allow people to
mm,
go different places. So if you have a trip coming up that the kids are going on, you can have the registration in that link tree. You can have the website link on that link tree. You can have all these different things on one just page, and it just keeps it super super clean. So definitely check that out. But the tips that I recommend is number one, definitely use Linktree or like a tool similar to Linktree in your bio,
mhm,
just to keep things really, really organized on your Instagram. And then utilize content creation tools. As you are really making different graphics, if you're editing images, utilize the tools. And the top tools that I'm using on a day-to-day basis is number one, Canva.
oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I know a lot of people don't have Photoshop skills, or they don't, Photoshop intimidates them. So Canva is an online tool. It's free, that you can use to create graphics. It's super user friendly. It's really, really easy. So I would definitely use and utilize Canva for, really making graphics, making all those different things. And then for planning and knowing what time to post and how your grid's going to look and all those different things, I would utilize the Facebook Planner, and it's in the Facebook
Mm.
Business Suite. Um, and so a lot of people don't realize this, but Facebook actually gives you a planner that tells you the best times to post,
Oh
and you
wow.
can plan out your entire month. And so, yeah, really definitely check those two tools out. And then lastly, just personalize it. At times, especially during the pandemic, I know it was tough, but even coming out, you're there was times that I'm on a children's ministry page and all I see is graphics. It's just graphics,
Mm.
like literally just designed out graphics. There's no pictures, there's no smiling faces, there's no families, there's no life, and that's what families want to see. When you're posting and when you're creating content for your social media, you have to think about you have to really think about the family that's not there and the family that's brand new. And once you
Mm.
start really thinking about that, that's when things are going to change. You want to show what your environment looks like. You want to show different families happy in your environment. You want to show what you're doing. So make sure that you have a mixture of both, real photos, and then at the same time interspersed with graphics as well.
Oh yeah, and definitely when you bring someone in, people pay attention to people who pay attention to them.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
personalizing it, that is the way to go. And for anyone that heard about like Canva, if you're not using it yet, check it out and don't be intimidated there.
Mm,
Canva, it's like they realized 99% of people who use Photoshop are stressed because they have to do something really complicated to make a graphic for social media. And then there's that 1% that's like editing magazine photos.
right.
Canva is to Photoshop what Playlister is to ProPresenter. It's like the simpler, powerful
Yeah.
version of everything.
Love that. Love that. Yeah. So true. I mean, yeah. I mean, you don't have to worry about Illustrator, Photoshop, all those different things. So Canva, and it's literally every single day they're adding more features to it. So that's what I love
Mhm.
about it. But yeah, so like there's so many tips that I could give a leader for really just innovating their social media, but really like action steps right now that you can do. If you have number one, to get a Facebook or Instagram. Number two, really just think about how that first, right when we get to that page, how that looks. The bio, make sure the bio is concise and clear. Put your shoes in put yourself in the shoes of a new parent and viewing a social page. And then what links are in your link tree? Make sure you have a link tree, which is free, by the way. You can I believe from what I've used in the past, link tree is free. And then just make sure your grid or the things you post, the content is really just representing what your ministry is. So those are for social. So we've done email, we've done social, and then the next one is repelling websites, and just having a website in which a family or a parent would go there and they would immediately bounce out because it just didn't convey enough information. Maybe it wasn't optimized. But the biggest problem I see with websites right now, well, actually, number one is I know as a children's pastor or a children's leader, children's director, or even a volunteer, it may be hard to get access to your ministry website because maybe it's under the whole church umbrella and it's just harder to get to. I know that's how it was for me. It was really hard to make updates to our website. But really, I would advise communicating and talking with your communications or creative team or whatever that you have to see, hey, what can we do to really make updating our website or make innovating our website even easier. What do you need from me? That's what worked for us. We really just said, hey, we want to make our website page better, more inviting. What do you need from us? So before you even think about just changes to your website, just really think about who holds those keys. Who do you have to talk to make those changes? But the biggest thing that I see with website, number one, I put in the middle, but it's really number one is your website isn't mobile friendly. And a lot of churches during the pandemic struggled with this and they were caught like literally cold when all families were at home because their website wasn't mobile friendly. And you would open it
Mm.
up on the phone. I mean, it says 57% of people are, using their mobile phones to look at the website. So you want to make sure that the website page, just take a moment, look at it through your phone, and see, like, is this really effectively, can I see it? Is it mobile friendly? Is it mobile optimized? That way you can just make sure that every family, no matter where they're at, can be able to view your page. And then also compress those images as well. Just like we talked about
Mm.
previously with the email, it's even more important for the website.
Mm.
Oftentimes people load big size, high res photos on these websites, and they just take forever to load, especially like if you're just loading many different photos or even a gallery. That could really hurt just the load time of your website. And with that, I mean, it just hurts everything. It's like a snowball effect. If your website takes forever to load, it's game over.
Mm.
So really compress those images, make sure it's mobile friendly, and then just really update and look through your web page, and like I said, put yourself in the shoes of a new parent. When I go to your page, number one, I'm gonna want to see different families, and I want to see families that look like me. So like if I'm a black family, if I'm a black family and I'm looking at the page, I want to see families like myself. All that you have to put everything into perspective.
Mm.
So just make sure you go through the page, let them know the information, the time, where they're going to be, what time check-in is, all those big information that parents ask. Just make sure that it's updated on your page.
Yeah, those are some great tips there, Bobby. And I like the ideas there of like, hey, go through it on your mobile phone, see how it looks like
Yeah,
objectively. And I love the idea as well of you want to show that your church is an inclusive place where everyone will be welcomed. And the best way to do this is by showing it. Show
right.
your church, show the families there. That's the way to get there. Are there any church websites you think are like spectacular examples to look at for inspiration that come to mind?
Yeah, there's a lot of churches, especially, but right now, I mean, even a lot of churches even change or have temporary
Mm.
pages for the pandemic. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot of different churches though. I love like Gwinnett Church, for example.
Mm.
There's Bayside in California. There's a lot of different churches that are doing it right. And the biggest thing too is that now there's a lot of like templates available online to use
Mm.
to create your website page. So if you're using like if you want to build it very simple and easy, like Squarespace website builder, or even
Mhm.
just if you want to go a little bit advanced, WordPress or whatever. But there's so many templates online for people to use, and I love that you said that because I in marketing, you always are looking at what people are doing, and the
Mhm.
internet is such a vast place, and there's so many thousands of churches. So you can let your creativity go free and see what's working in a church, and see how their website looks and how all these different things, and really just create your own page that invites families. Just make sure it's mobile friendly. Just gotta.
Oh yeah.
All right, so website, and then the next mistake is disregarding Google.
Mm.
Oftentimes, I mean, this is even big for me. Few years back, we really didn't even put Google into effect so much that even our Google, our church wasn't even showing up on Google.
Okay.
So oftentimes, once you have your church like that, you have your website and all these different things. Want to make sure that the way you look on Google is accurate. And so I really would stress you getting a Google business account, and that's where you
Mm.
can just literally update all the information on your church, the time. You can really open up the platform for reviews to have families to be able to review your church, your address, all those key information. Because if somebody says, if I'm talking to another family member, they say, "Hey, check out Mount Zion Church," then I'm going to be like, "Okay," and I'm going to literally search it on Google before anything. And this is going to be the first thing that's going to pop up even before the website. So make sure that your Google My Business is showing accurately the maps, all these different things. And then also with that, a lot of people don't even know about the Google Grant, which is like
Mm.
gold mine for nonprofits. If your church is a nonprofit, and there's a couple other requirements, but it's really easy. You just apply, and what this is, it's a Google Grant for about like $10,000 that you
Oh
can use
wow.
per month. Yeah, for if you're a nonprofit, if you're a 501c3 church, which most
Mm.
churches land on that. So definitely investigate and see if your church qualifies for the Google Grant. Maybe your church is already using it, but
Mm.
check that out, because with that money you'll be able to you can run ads, you can really boost photo images, all these different things that you can really use that Google Grant to really just promote and market your ministry.
Yeah, and that Google Grant, is that exclusively for like the web business suite tools like ads and stuff, or can you use that for like other technology as well? What are the
Yeah.
top things you see churches invest that in?
Yeah, no, I feel like if it was for like, if you could use it for like a lot of things, everybody would be applying for it.
Yeah.
But really it's for Google tools, such as running ads, and
Mm.
all the different things within Google. So a lot of people really just, the best thing to use is to get the Google Grant and to run ads. Maybe you have an event, maybe you have like a Christmas event coming up, or maybe you have a new series that's starting, but really running those ads. And that's why a lot of people are seeing more and more now churches are running ads. They're
Mm.
really, you're probably on Instagram or Facebook and you see a church ad. Maybe the pastor is kind of like, talking about his church or her church, and just really just promoting everything that's going on. So using that Google Grant really gives you 10,000 per month to do that. So really just, like I said, just advise, talk to your communications department, create a team, see if they're already using it before you apply,
Mm.
and then see what steps you guys need to take just to be able to make that happen.
Love that idea.
Yeah. All right. And then the
Drum
next,
roll.
let's see. The next one is, all right. Let me put this first. All right. Last one is not leveraging a marketing team. This is
Mm.
probably my favorite. So when I go to like a church or meet with a church, or they're asking questions about how to really level up their church marketing, really like to see what they've done, what they do, or what they're currently
Mm.
doing right now as in marketing their ministry. And really at that moment I can see and I can really help them with immediate things right then and there. And so oftentimes leaders are thinking, hey, we need help marketing our ministry. We want to think big. We want a whole rebrand. We want all these different things. But there's so much that you can do right now with what you have before you have to bring in maybe a different company to help you with your marketing. And the biggest thing is leveraging a marketing team and creating a
Mm.
marketing team. And we've done this so many times at so many different churches. And the biggest thing that I like to help people with is really recruiting gifted volunteers. And so we're going to start with the middle one. Number one is just like recruiting students are the best, students and college students, because you want to create a team that are passionate about capturing those moments, and are passionate, and not only passionate, but they know how to. They teens now, I mean, they're on social media all day. TikTok, they can really pump out
Yeah.
content quick, right? And so you want to find teens that are really just engaged, and maybe they have gifted in photography, film, all those different things, and really just have them and leverage resources to them to be able to capture this content. Um, you don't need to hire a photographer to come in every Sunday to take these photos. So just getting a couple of students, I mean, students are the best, and or even college students, to really get engaged and to capture these moments. Um,
Mm.
and what I usually suggest is uh, get a group of maybe photographers, people that know how to film or edit, just a core group of people. We call them your digital marketing team. or call them just the moment capture team or whatever. Um,
Awesome.
and so, yeah, get them together and really have a link or set up like a drive or a Dropbox link in which they can be able to put all the content that they make in. So the way that
Mm.
we did it at my church is I recruited several students. One was amazing photographer. One knew how to video and edit video, and one knew how to just like really like kind of direct and really just knew like kind of like the vision. And so I always put them through together on Sundays just to really be able to go and capture different things. And so
Mm.
with that, I opened up a Dropbox, like a Dropbox link, and what I did is I resourced them with a camera and accessories, and they would come in on Sunday. They would use those accessories. Even if they have their phone, they would use their phone, and they would capture all the moments. And before they left the church that Sunday, they would upload it into that Dropbox. And so
Mm.
with that, you have so many different images pumping in every single week that they're dropping into this Dropbox. So with that, you'll be able to use all that different content to post throughout the week, to just maybe even run ads, to do all these, put in your email, and it's literally it's not you taking the photos. You don't have to worry about it. You have a team to do it. That's the biggest thing. You don't want to be doing all this. It's just going to drain you. But to have a team that loves it, that know how to do it, that can do it with ease, that's kind of what I recommend.
Oh yeah, creative team's an underrated asset in your ministry. Love the idea of students there because it's what they enjoy doing. It's a great way to get them to volunteer, and yeah, that's awesome. Um, so, what are some other like helpful roles on the creative team besides like just the photographer, video person? What are kind of the go-to? Hey, these people are like the Avengers of our creative team.
Right.
We're gonna
Yeah.
Avengers assemble up in here. Who
Totally.
are those
Totally.
folks?
Yeah. Well, you definitely want a team. Number one, just it's your new family team. Before
Mm.
even like thinking about marketing, you want a team that is there for new families to welcome new families because that's like the prize possession each and every week. Um,
Mm.
and and so just to have a couple of individuals, maybe they're a married couple, whatever, just really with those families that are inviting them and kind of just making sure that the child has an amazing time. So that way, when the
Mhm.
parent comes back to pick them up, they know without a doubt that the child had an amazing time. So I'd advise for that. And then another person would be we have the photographer, we have the person editing film, the person kind of just helping out, and then also finding somebody that's gifted in really posting these. So
Mm.
that's like the next level after that. Um, Getting that off your chest as well, you want to find somebody that is really that really knows just the strategy that you want to put on them, really of like scheduling out posts. And what you can do is you can really find somebody that you think maybe you know somebody in your church that just knows how to post. I mean, it's not that hard. Just like, yeah, you just find somebody that knows how a grid's supposed to look, how to make an engaging page, and really just get to know them and talk to them and see what it will look like for them if they would be able to plan out what that would look like in for your own ministry. And there's a lot of different tools for that as well.
Absolutely. And that kind of ties back into your previous mistake, like not being consistent on social. Like
Right.
that's probably the top thing you can look for in that person. Can they do this consistently?
Yeah.
And having someone to help there, they're going to be able to do it consistently. And there you go. You dodged
Oh.
two mistakes at once.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and literally you can do it week to week. So you can have that person plan out what the next week's post is going to look like, and they can use like a tool like the Business Suite tool, or you can use a different tool. There's like Buffer, Hootsuite. There's all these different tools where you can
Mm.
see what the posts are going to look like, the captions, the hashtags, all those different things before they're actually scheduled. So if you find somebody and you have a system like that where you have a team that comes in and captures photos and captures films, capture those moments, and then they upload it to that Dropbox. You give that Dropbox link to that person that's going to be scheduling it out, and let them know, hey, this is what we're learning this month. This is the events that's coming up. These are the big things. I just want to make sure that's also captured in the on our page, and really give them that Dropbox and just see how that works. But before anything posts, you'll be able to have your eyes on it. So it's not like they're just having free reign on the ministry page. But the big thing is just really, as a children's ministry leader, I feel it and I understand you want to get as much off your chest because you are doing so much on a Sunday morning, and to be worried about the getting photos and getting video moments. You have so many other things. You're leading volunteers, so if you can have a team that's capturing that, it takes the whole ministry up to the next level, man.
Absolutely. Could not agree more there.
Yeah. And so also I even advise like investing in a like a photo video kit. And this is the one I always kind of just advise. Even with at Orange, we have a free event kit for a Christmas event, family event. And what we advise even those leaders are, during your event, we know you're going to be so busy. And so we highly recommend getting a small team of people to capture those moments at the Christmas event, at the Jingle Jam, in which you can be able to use the next year or use as a highlight post or whatever. But this is a cool tool because it has the light that you can literally shine the light. Just make sure, there's a lot of areas in the church that maybe is just a little bit dim than others. You can have the legs that stand it down, and then it has that microphone that hooks, the best part, to your iPhone. And so you don't need to buy a big iPhone, whatever. You just have this kit, and it's almost like you have a checkout system. The leaders come in, they check it out, they just get it and hook their phones to it, and they capture content. And with that, then they can just upload it. They can literally upload it to the Dropbox wirelessly. And if you have that system going and you provide the resources, then they will in turn provide you with the good content that you need to post. So, and post consistently for sure.
Absolutely. Well, that is a great extra tip there. And yeah, tripod, iPhone, and a light in that, that can really do anything you need. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and just giving them the tools that they need to just be able to succeed wherever. If it's outside, that's why you have the rat tail on the mic, just to be able to just get the wind noise out, and you have the light, so it just gives you all these different tools for different scenarios. So yeah, definitely invest in tools. Just make sure that they have all the tools that they need to succeed.
Awesome. That is great. Any other tips today, Bobby?
No, so those are the big five. I'm sure, even throughout these next weeks and the months, I know there's going to be so many more, but we are gathering all these different things and these hacks and to really help church leaders. And that's what I love with you guys. You guys have developed not even just a hack, but the tool to literally help leaders be able to take their ministry to the next level. And even for us, I'm working with a church this Sunday and for the past couple Sundays, and before they were really struggling with volunteers, and they had this computer in the back that they had one leader that was really inconsistent. And when I say really, really inconsistent, so they never knew if he was going to be there or not. And so they're literally just like, it was a guessing game. And when he wasn't there, it was really chaotic because they had to find somebody to be able to run ProPresenter or run PowerPoint, all those different things. And it was very stressful. But now it is so funny when we set up Playlister on the screen. We literally took this big computer that they're using and we just like retired it. And so now it's just this Apple TV on the sound booth, which is hilarious. It's just an Apple TV where it just had a screen, a keyboard, all these different things, and not have to worry about that person coming in all the time, making sure that they're back there, being able to run at the time that you want it, to put that image at that right moment, to not start the video when you didn't want to start the video, all those different things. it's so easy with that remote. So I love it, man. We're just using it on each and every Sunday. So definitely thank you for that for sure.
Oh yeah, thank you. We're excited. Playlister plus Orange. We help because, like you said, you have a lot on your plate as a ministry leader. You
Yeah,
are stretched very thin, and we want to make sure you can focus on what matters, which is ministering to kids, so they'll remember that throughout their whole life.
love that, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you guys having me on just to share these. I love sharing hacks. So whichever, anytime in the future, definitely just give me a shout.
Absolutely. And Bobby has a lot of awesome ministry hacks. So follow him on all socials if you aren't already. And that's going to do it for us today. So thank you so much for joining me, Bobby. And yeah, more to come.
Awesome. See y'all.
All right.